Hey guys, another edition of Musicians Forum. This is number 10. I have with us today the fantastic, awesome, fabulous, amazing Rhythm Dueces. We've got
Still oversold.
we got Jesse, Barton, and Keith Greene. Welcome, guys.
Hey, howdy.
How y'all doing?
Doing great.
Doing good. We've been trying to schedule this for a couple weeks, but we got it. We're finally here in between all the madness.
Yeah, we stay busy.
Yeah. I would say the most busy I've seen you guys is probably in the last 2 or 3 years. Every time I kind of look on social media after a weekend of bands, I look, oh, they played over here. Oh my gosh, they played over here on Friday night, Saturday night. Look at this,
Yeah.
Thursday night. So what's going on? So you guys got any shows coming up next weekend?
Not next weekend.
No, not next weekend. I think next couple of weeks we're off.
Oh, okay, good.
But we got some things brewing that we're really excited for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially with Rachel Crowe Band.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Hate to hear her losing her dad there about a week or two ago.
Yeah.
That's really rough.
Yeah, Bruce is a great guy. He
Yeah,
really was.
every show, always supporting her. And
Absolutely.
loved it. He loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I can only imagine, her having him so close, and now it's, the
Looking out there
distance.
and not seeing
Yeah.
it.
And they wrote together. I mean, so much of her words they wrote.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad that she's working harder and got some stuff coming out. Now, you guys recording anything with anybody?
No, I'm not recording at the moment. Just doing a lot of playing. Of course, I do a lot of fill-in work as Jesse does, playing with other people. So really that takes up most of my time musically is
Right.
playing and then doing some booking for the city of Barberville.
Oh, yeah. High Street Sounds.
High Street Sounds.
Yeah, what's that season
Tell me
looking
about
like?
that. So when does it start and who do you got lined up? And
Well, we haven't made the official announcements yet, so I don't know if I can.
okay.
I mean, can I give a couple of exclusives?
Well, I mean, why not?
I mean, I don't want to say that we
I don't
might.
want to get you in trouble, though.
I mean, I don't know. Sure. I mean, maybe we got Gravel Switch coming this year.
All right. Okay.
Maybe I got Mirage coming this year.
Nice.
Maybe I got Tawoob. But okay, I don't remember how to pronounce his last name. But he plays a very unique, like a South African type of banjo type thing.
Yeah.
Got him and his band coming. Nice. They toured the United States. I really should have got his name correctly before I said it, but I apologize if he sees it.
Well, afterwards I will spell it out. I'll put
Okay.
it on there in the teleprompter.
Yeah, so
Nice.
Goodwin, the Goodwin brothers. Can I say?
Oh man.
This is exclusive now. This hasn't been released yet to the public.
Can't
so
believe this.
I might
Here.
but right here on Musicians Forum. Anyway, we'll see how the schedule comes out. Second Saturday of every month from April to September, the city of Barberville and Barberville Tourism is going to have a concert series. It's the third year of it.
Where's that at?
It's at Barberville Tourism, 117 High Street.
Okay.
And we got great sound from Sanctuary Sound. They handle that
Brad
and
is
lighting.
awesome.
Yeah,
Brad
shout
is-
out to Brad Abraham.
Is he using the new stage this year? I know he has.
Yeah, for our
That's
Christmas
nice.
program
Yeah.
and some other 4th of July.
Yeah.
We got a big show for 4th of July. I'm not going to announce that.
Okay.
I'll keep that one a secret.
But you just all right. Okay,
It's a big show though.
Okay.
So Barberville Tourism coming through.
Man.
Bang.
Well done, man.
I'm trying. It's really bad because what if some of these people back out or?
Well, yeah, and then
Yeah.
you got to build it up. You got to.
That's true.
You got to let it just
Yeah, that's all right. You know what? But I'm not
Yeah.
afraid.
Okay.
Because if I'm wrong, then everybody can say, well, Keith said, and I'm like, I did say that.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Band shows up in another state.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah.
never happens.
True story.
It's like, oops, here's an even better band that
I
came
mean, you
in.
got to tell that story because that.
I'm not telling that
You're not
story.
going to tell that story. Is
That's-
that a story to tell? No.
Well,
There's
go
more than
ahead.
one Barberville.
Yeah.
That's what we came to learn that
there's
there
more than one
are
bar.
As it
so many
happens.
states with the same town name that could have
Absolutely.
venues that are
Similarly
similar.
sized towns. And-
Fun fact, the band's coming back this year, so.
okay, so we're going to cut that part out.
You don't know, no, you're going to cut it out, that's fine.
Little tidbit in knowing the inside story: bands always check the maps and address before you leave.
Read your writer.
Read your writer. And but we're excited to have them back. I'm not going to say who it was, but
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure somebody will make that announcement once. It's just how it happens.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear Barberville bringing music. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there's a lot of talent around there, and just to showcase it. And then a lot of these are talent from out of state too. So you normally don't catch these guys in this part of the state.
No.
So the fact you're coming to Barberville is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it really speaks to the commitment from Barberville tourism director Marsha Dixon and the mayor Mayor Thompson. Just people like these leaders in our community who are willing to make the investments and really bring something for the community they can be proud of. I think anybody who's been to Barberville knows how wonderful it looks at the moment, and to have entertainment and things coming to that's going to include, like they have that the drive-through theater coming to Barberville.
Now talk about that, because I've heard of it and I don't know a whole lot about it. So
it's all up.
How does it
built.
look? How does it work? Do you show up at a certain time? Or?
Yeah, you show up at a certain time. They got a state of art projector or what have you. They got a huge screen up there. It's at the Brickyard Ponds, so it's right off 25. You won't miss. As soon as you get to town, you'll see it right there on your right. And they'll have movie selections and ads and things like any other movie theaters, and people will drive in. I think you select a radio station or something like that and get the and hopefully people just have fun. FM broadcast, if I'm not mistaken. But I wasn't involved with the building. I'm just the hype man.
But when it's going to first air or have the first?
I heard spring. That's
what
I've been.
I heard spring. I heard spring, but I know there's, like everything else, so many supply issues.
Sure.
That they've been dealing with for the last, they were hoping to have it up last spring, but just supply issue after supply issue, and not to the fault of the city.
Right.
They've, if anybody rumors go around, it has not. They have been on it. They have been trying to get this going. It's just trying to get the supply chain issues. So
you think it's something like it will take off? I mean, do you think it's just one of those things? I mean, I
hope so.
I loved it. I mean, I loved it when we go to Somerset, or growing up we had it. Of course, that was many moons ago, but I always kind of enjoyed it. I don't know now with streaming and everything else that's going on, will that affect it as much?
Well, I know in Barberville, they have once a month they do a movie on the square, and hundreds and hundreds of people
that's
come
great.
back.
That's a great test.
Every time. I mean, of course it's a free movie.
Yeah.
But hundreds and hundreds of people line the square, and they're way down the road. It's like one of the biggest events that outside of Daniel Boone Festival. So
excellent.
I'm assuming even if half that crowd or a small portion of the crowd will still be enough to sustain the theater.
That's awesome. And so in that place, I guess, wherever they're broadcasting the movie and all that, is it playground or, kids run around, or is it pretty much stay in your car?
I don't know.
Those are just specific.
Yeah. I don't know.
From the road, it looks pretty standard. You got the posts and you park.
They'll have a concession. They'll have a concession station and stuff like that.
Okay,
but,
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm not telling anybody, do not stay on 25 and watch it from the freeway.
Is it bad?
I did not say that.
We had one on the way to Middlesboro when I was growing up, and I would try to watch it as we drive past it every time come back from Middlesboro. And they were always showing something inappropriate. What was it called? The Rose? I can't remember. Not the movie, but the name of the theater. I think it was. Yeah.
You're like, wow.
They may have shown the Rose. It would have been about the right time. But
I was here, I guess, just when the Corbin drive-in was still open, and of course you could see it from the highway too when you drove by it. Even if you didn't want to, you could. I guess.
Yeah, you. I guess you just try for your people and hope for the best.
Yeah, great.
But Barberville's putting in the work.
Barberville's putting in the work.
They're really showing out, so it's a good thing.
Good. It's good to hear. So, all right, guys. So I wrote down some questions, and this is one of those questions where I asked you guys before the broadcast, and you guys started laughing at me. But this is ridiculous because we watch you guys playing, and when I say we, social media, because you guys play all the time, and you play for everybody.
Anybody will have me.
How in the world do you keep up with? I mean, each one of the bands that I've seen you guys play with, and I've been with, several bands with you guys. How do you keep track of the originals and the covers and catalog that? I know rehearsals are so important, but some of those bands don't do that.
Oh no!
No.
So where do you start? I hate to say fake it, but there's
that's
more
it.
than that. There's
Interview's
more than
over.
that.
That's
It has been revealed. Do.
I mean, think about being a rhythm section player is you got to be broad, really broad as possible. And, you don't necessarily do any one style perfectly. You just try to capture a variety of your influences. Wow, I can hear that. How about that? But, you learn shortcuts, you learn patterns, and, you got the basic progression, you got the hook, and you can pretty much fake it.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. Do you find yourself halfway through the song going, man, I played the wrong song. Oh, man.
All the time.
Yeah, that happened to us
Recently.
Yeah, we did that not too long ago. Yeah. To give Jesse credit, and something I know I love is that you got to be passionate about the music you're playing.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever we talk about an upcoming gig, or we talk about an individual gig, it's always a lot of joy in the music. It's like, oh man, we're playing this song next. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and then even though I'm not playing in that band, he'll mention it to me. He'll send me like a cut of him playing it, practicing to it, and then I'll go home and practice it too. And then inevitably, I'll get a call to fill in.
That's how you're prepared.
And then they're like, "Oh man, Keith, you just knew all the songs." I was like, "Well, Jesse sent me the recordings months ago, but I just consider me a genius. I'll just take that."
Yeah. Genius stickers. So I see you guys write notes. Like in rehearsals that I've been in. Maybe Jesse more so than Keith, but you guys. I think that's a challenge because I find myself where I get kind of locked in where I've got to at least see chord progressions a little bit because some of these things where you go from a blues song into a classic rock song into a newer pop song, I can't remember all that stuff. But you guys seem to find, and I think you feed more off each other. I
absolutely.
Just listening for those spaces and those timing issues and those type of things where if you were playing with another drummer, you would be probably not as efficient.
It really depends on the drummer, but for the most part, I mean, how long have we been playing? Gosh,
7 years?
7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years together. I mean, since the Blue Crawdads, that was 2014.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
So
November 9th.
Yeah, November 9th, 2014.
The Blue Crawdads. Let me take a little transition here. So tell me a little bit about that because they, Andy was on the scene there a while, and it really, I guess, first time I saw you guys was at You and Me. And playing a lot. So how did you guys meet up, and when did that start?
So my first day when I first moved to Kentucky, that was July. I started working at Union College, and Jesse was the IT personnel, and he came to set up my computer and all the stuff in my office, and we were talking.
Shop.
Just talking to get to know each other.
You had those cool statues, the welded metals.
Like musician statues. He said, he asked me about music, and then we started talking, and he was talking about he been playing with some alumni or something like that, and he said, hey, we'd love to, why don't you come out sometime and we can hang and we can just play some music together. I said, sure. And then after that that was October 30th, we played a Halloween thing. And then November 9th, we had our first show as the Blue Crawdads. I mean, not to jump from when I started in July to November, but that's basically how it happened.
Yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
So how long did you guys play together? I know that you guys took a break and came back and maybe played a couple more shows or whatever. But
yeah, we had a different guitarist, Dave Bolin, amazing,
I love that
guy, and but we played up until that one. I think our last show was the Boone Festival, probably the one right before COVID hit.
Yeah,
I think October 2019. I think is what it was.
White Rabbit. Maybe White Rabbit was our last.
It was one of those.
October 2019.
Yeah, something like that. Right in fall there.
So when you guys started playing together, you're like, "There's something here. I got to keep playing." And so, I mean,
well, even before that, we were doing the playing with other bands. And,
sure.
If I needed a bass player for a band, I would call Jesse, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So we really, we just always hit it off. We got a lot of things in common and interests. So.
Well, so I heard that when you started playing with the Blue Crawdads, that was your first foray into the blues. Is that right? I mean, so what was your background? Of course, you came from California.
Yeah.
To move into Kentucky. So what was some of your influences?
Well, no, actually, I had played blues before.
Oh, okay.
My first for Kentucky was the country stuff.
Gotcha.
I literally didn't know the difference between Travis Tritt and Garth Brooks.
Oh, no.
So I go play some like the White Barn or
Yeah.
Phelps or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, you know that song? This is just Travis Tritt." And I'm like, "Never heard of this in my life. No idea who that guy. I know more Reba McEntire than I do. Zero. Conway Twitty, zero.
Zero.
She had a great show. She had a great show, great sitcom. Man, I love Van. Van was hilarious.
My man.
Oh my goodness.
Full of humor.
But so when I grew up, I did listen to a lot of. I did get to play blues and R&B.
Okay. Yeah.
I got to play at the world famous. I don't remember the name of it now.
That famous.
It's a blues place in San Jose,
You
California.
heard of it.
People would fly in for the jams. That's how.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and they made me sit for
You
one. whole
got to
year.
play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had to sit for one whole year and listen because the first time I got up, they gave me a try and they were like, "Young man, let's go ahead and have you sit and listen and learn some blues, and then we'll let you come up and play." And that took a year of going almost every week or so.
Yeah.
But they had real good gumbo and jambalaya.
So there was
free.
no complaints from you.
Yeah, I just
What for free? What?
free.
How did that?
That was just part of the jam night. This person made a big thing of gumbo.
If you came to the jam, you got to eat.
yeah.
Nice.
So I was there, and then I so I did a lot of that, and I played a lot of classic rock and stuff. A lot of classic rock bands, and I was always metalhead. So I mean, not like heavy metal, but like heavy metal. The Meshuggahs, the Lamb of Gods, that kind of stuff, like the not so
Heavy.
much. Yeah, not so much.
I
Like,
never
Heavy.
even thought that.
oh yeah, my brother he's a guitar player, and he wrote a lot of that stuff, and so
Yeah.
that's what we played. We played a lot of
I had
heavy.
no idea.
Yeah, so I was a metal drummer beforehand. Shout out to all the metal heads in the house.
Represent.
And then there's a style of music in DC called go-go music. And
Man,
I
I'm
got,
telling you.
I got Jesse on it. But go-go music, that's where I really grew. Chuck Brown's Soul Searchers, Rare Essence. You remember the Doing the Butt song from the movie School Days? A lot of people, that's go-go music.
Okay.
And that style of, and so that's where I get kind of my rhythm and stuff like that from.
And the sweatiest jams.
Yeah.
The
'cause
sweat. They are all in. If you want. Oh my
it's
gosh.
just think of continuous jam for hours. But it's not a jam like what's the John Mayer thing or John Mayer? Somebody's gonna
Grateful
kill me.
Dead.
Grateful
Fish.
Dead. I know exactly.
Wow.
Whoa.
Because they have a huge amount in common.
Yeah. Wow. I know. Forgive me, but yeah, not
Garcia.
like the Grateful Dead. They're more structured. It's kind of almost like gospel in a way, but it's a call and response type music. It's called go-go music. Don't get it confused with the disco style music, but it's a whole thing for Washington D.C. and anybody's familiar with that area. That's the music I grew up on. So and it's real rhythm based, and that's what helps me become so fluid when I play with people. Is because you have to follow your lead rapper, your lead singer, because they're guiding the whole thing. Transition from songs. It's not something that's just so structured. Like, okay, we're gonna do 4 bars and then
Stays
go
through the whole song.
You just kind of got to follow them, and as the bass player changes,
It's just full of dynamics.
full of
Just-
dynamics,
just
up and flow, and you got to
ebb and
follow.
flow. Yeah.
What's the same thing with the blues, and so that's why I think that's another thing that makes me successful with playing with so many different bands. I just can.
You know how to read the
know how to
room
read.
and read what the singer or song.
Yep.
Listen, Keith Greene is hands down the best listener in percussion. I mean, easily. Seriously. He pays attention.
That's awesome.
Appreciate that.
And I think that's probably why you keep getting callbacks.
Yeah,
You know?
probably. That and I show
He just
up.
knows. Well, that's half the battle, right?
Yeah,
90% of success is showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Jordan Allen on here a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about that show in Atlanta. He's like, "Oh man," he goes, I kept looking back, and I'm like, "It's Keith. How does Keith know? He's just playing, and he goes, I feel like I've been playing with him for years." So that was really awesome to hear that kind of feedback. Of course, playing with you with Lightnin Rod and a couple other things that we've done together. I thought, man, I could totally see where Jordan would be just in heaven, to have that. Now, so I know Jesse
Since college.
and you're probably
Late
one of my
90s.
oldest friends in Kentucky. So there you go, man.
Yeah, that music program over at the University of Cumberland's, man.
Yeah.
That was something else. That was a good time.
Yeah, it really was. And I can remember, so David Threckeld was on here. He was our second guest, and he was just talking about the music program there. I can remember so many people have come through the program that still stay in contact.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there's Jason that you still talk to, if not every day, but weekly. I mean, he's just up the road here in Louisville. We're talking about maybe getting up with him sometime, one of our shows.
They're probably going to come to the one. Am I clipping? They're probably going to come to the one at Germantown.
So yeah, with the music program at Cumberland's, which that's where I met you at, and I actually did not really get to play music with you. Of course, I wasn't playing music when I was at Cumberland's until
you were like a theater guy,
yeah,
and like a communications,
art program, and all that. But what I love about, and I guess it's that way at Union too, is that it's the community that stays together. It just communicates, talks.
Yeah.
But so many of the folks that went through these programs are still kind of involved in music in some way, some fashion, which is really nice. But for me, I really appreciated kind of reigniting friendship with you and getting able to play. And we were, back in October, we went to St. Augustine. We all got to play in the same band.
Yep.
It was really cool.
That was a trip.
The long trip. I mean, we were on the road for 10 hours, played for 2 and drove back another 10.
Another 10 hours.
The ribs were amazing, though.
The ribs are fantastic.
The ribs were
I should
amazing.
take more advantage of that. I literally was in that house with those ribs for 2 days. No, untouched.
No one would let me take. I mean, there was like a whole plate full of it, and no one would have known it was gone.
No.
No one would let me take it. We earned that.
Yeah, we earned those
It
ribs.
was really good. But I have to thank you for inspiring me, because on that trip we talked about music, we talked about all kinds of things, but we were talking about podcasting, and this really kind of kept kicking me in the rear end. I've got to do this, talk to my friends about music and record it. And so this is kind of a fruition of that conversation and all that. So so Jesse, talking a little bit about being at Cumberland's. So since Cumberland's, you know, were you staying in music along the way? Were you playing with people, or did it just kind of come, you know, in the last few years? Or
You know, it's really weird. There was a pretty long period there where a lot of my time that I got to play was not really gigging out. You know, I was playing at church. I was playing, you know, with friends at work. I didn't really have the opportunities to go out and just do stuff. I had small kids at the time too. You know, they're college now, so I have a lot more free time anyway. But no, I kept playing. There's plenty of people to play with on a more casual basis in Ohio. Lots of really good, talented people too. But really, until I moved back down here, I didn't get the opportunities to actually get out and play. So I'm super lucky.
So was it with Blue Crawdads? Did you kind of dusted off the bass, or was it before that?
Well, no, I'd been playing. I mean, I never really stopped. I played with my uncle, Charles Barton. He's performed at High Street Sounds. And, I played with him over the years and whatnot, but didn't really get serious about, playing lots of shows because I really didn't have the opportunity to do so prior to that. So I kept it up, but I didn't do it as much as I would have liked to.
Because I'm talking to a few guys that have kind of put back their instruments and playing out live, and one of the things I want to do is encourage them to come out and play more, get their instrument out, think about playing more in other places. And
Sure.
Each of us have kind of gone through those seasons where we said, that's too much. Life happens. You've got kids, you've got jobs and family things. But when you have the opportunity to play, it's good to fit it in there. It's good for mental health. It's
Absolutely.
good for keeping the chops going. And we had the C's on here not too long ago, and it's just so exciting to hear them talking about doing some more music, playing again, Logan getting healthy, and that kind of thing. And I love the community of support. It's kind of seeing all that transition. Logan's losing some weight. And he's got good doctor reports, and Richard's writing music and those kind of things. So happy to see that going on. And then we were talking about somebody you guys are really encouraged by, and a lot of folks know him, but Peyton Stewart.
Oh, yeah, Peyton Stewart.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about him, because, this guy's, like you said, he's in multiple bands. And
He kills it. Man, that kid shreds.
Yeah. I got to, when he was still like a teenager, I don't know if he was graduating high school yet, he had called me about doing some filling drums for him for a couple of events he had. And then they were just such kids, and I was thinking about it. It's like, I was like 40, or maybe like 39, and I'm like playing with these 16, 17-year-olds, as I would. And but
because you can keep up.
Yeah, well, that, and you know what? He had chops. Mm-hmm. When I didn't know what to expect. They kind of just like baby faced, and and I was like, all right, I'm playing with these kids. But then he started to play his riffs from his original songs that he wrote, and I was like, oh, these things are killer. These are killer riffs, and I kind of threw in what I knew, and he enjoyed it, so it worked. And then we actually went to Ohio together and played a show, and it was just me and him, and it wasn't like I'll just have to carry this whole thing. No, he on his own, he dressed in a suit, and he just ripped it up, man. As a young kid on a big, huge stage in front of an audience, and I was just there supporting him. Yeah. And it really spoke to his musicianship. And now over these 5-6 years or whatever it's been, he's still out here.
He's playing with a lot of folks. Right?
Oh, he's playing with maybe 3-4 bands, and his chops are just so good. It's so clean. His I don't know. I don't want to speak guitar talk. I don't mess up.
Get yourself in over your
head. But his chord movementations, are pretty awesome. So,
well, I know he had played for Thursday Night Live a couple years back, and he was going through Stevie Ray Vaughan, there for a little bit. And I was like, oh man, this kid is on.
Yeah, such a good ear. Such a good ear. And he's playing at the Creek Church, and he's serving over there. So living in the metal world, playing at church, doing your own original. It's just any musician, if you want to build, yes, you can with chord books and and lots of studying in your room. That's awesome. Get out and play with other people, and you'll see how much you grow.
Yeah, and that's something we as older versions of ourselves, we can look back and say, that's what you need to be doing. We didn't do it.
Absolutely not.
And the biggest thing that we talk about with these two guys, and I love playing with them, and always an honor to be on stage with them. I grin like an idiot when I look back and see those guys back there. I'm like, this doesn't get any better than this. But being easy to work with, doing your homework. I've never seen these guys come to practice without. They may be faking it, but it looks like they did their homework. They at least have an idea what's going on, and if they don't, they admit it and say, I'm going to work on this, or listen, next time you hear them, they don't make the same mistake. And that's something to be said about musicianship, but just being a responsible musician in person. So definitely to attribute you guys to, that whole thing. So recently, and I regret deeply not attending this, but you had a drummer's clinic in Corbin.
Yeah.
And fantastic reviews, great outpouring. Talk about that, because I feel like a lot of folks might think that was just exclusivity or anything like that, but that you included everybody in that. You brought it all in one room. It's amazing to see. I can't imagine getting 12 was it 12 kids?
Yeah, 12 drum kits
in one room.
Yeah.
And how did that work? It just seemed like it was really organized and thought out.
Yeah, well, and part of it is organization, but also, the people, which is what I've experienced since I've been here in Eastern Kentucky, is that people are kind enough to allow it to happen. So instead of coming into the room and anyone could just start bashing, and then they just, I'm gonna try to do solos and impress everybody. Yeah. It was none of that. Yeah. Anyone could just go on other people's kids looking to steal, or or being careless with it. There was none of that. There was so much courtesy and helping each other. And so while I try to be structured, and I do have like a schedule and things like that, sure. That's kind of what I do bring to the table. Yeah. You got to. I didn't really get to play drums the whole time, because I'm trying to facilitate. I didn't have to be security, and I didn't have to be host, because we had some CZ Customs and Bill Spray, they sponsored and gave us pizzas for everybody.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was awesome, But we didn't have to go, hey, only one slice guy. Everybody knew, people started handing out plates and helped each other out. And that's, like you said, that's the community we have.
That's great.
And I'm so grateful to be a part of it. And it makes things like having a drummer hangout possible, because that's our fifth one. And the Corbin Center is like, yeah, we'll allow you to do it again. We'll allow you to bring as many drum sets as you want, and strangers from
That's amazing.
We had people from Georgia, people from Ohio come.
Wow.
It was I don't know who these people are. I didn't there's no background check, but just people with good hearts showed up and support each other. So
that's amazing. And I was so encouraged. I got this, I watched some of the videos and photos that were taken, and seeing Mike Fields come in there, and how encouraging that was to see him back and playing. And I know you have to have a community to support when you go through tough times, and having people just, keep on. Let's get this going. So that was encouraging. Just seeing everybody that showed up there. I mean, what would you say their age range was? Because I saw a lot of kids running around.
You had the people from Corbin High School.
Oh yeah.
Man, that kid was good.
That kid, the guitar kid.
Yeah,
the guitar kid. Which actually, I spoke at EKU today, and he was in the session.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I got to see him, and I shouted him out. I said, "Some of you guys already know," and then we had that connection. But we had students from EKU, and some people brought their young. We had one young boy from Northern Kentucky. He came with his drum teacher. Mm-hmm. They came out and their dad, and then of course we had some older gentlemen beyond the retirement age who came out. Some of them didn't have a drum set, but they we had drum pads, and they were just. We had one gentleman. It seemed like he may have had a stroke or something, had maybe some paralysis or something, and he played his heart out.
Oh man!
Even with his hand, he stuck it like in a little device and kind of kept his arm still. And when we had the big jams, he just sat in there, and I could see the joy in his face, and it made the whole thing worth it.
Man. That's wonderful.
Oh yeah.
So are we planning another one?
Yeah, we're planning another one. I don't have a date yet.
Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of that's my issue as a musician is I got so much going on that I kind of get bogged down not being able to focus on one thing. But I do enjoy the variety, but we will have another one. I do want to have some other. I want to organize one for guitar players. Mm-hmm. I really want to do that. I want to organize one for bass players.
Well, I hope that, and I'm just as a guitarist, I'm speaking for him. I hope they're as respectful as the drummers were.
I don't know, man.
I know some that would be, but
yeah, I know. That's what my hope is too. I know the bass players will be fine.
Yeah, there'll be three of them.
We're just there for the pizza. Just three of them.
So I didn't bring a bass. Just brought napkins and.
I'm telling you.
No.
Yeah, there's a ton of good bass players right now. Because they're so hard to. I mean, if you're building a band, the good bass players are playing with.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So Kenny.
Oh yeah,
Kenny's all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone.
Face popping up. These band photos. Like, that's Kenny. What's he doing in that band?
He's like in a half a dozen bands right now.
Right now.
They're rehearsing tonight. All of them tonight.
I believe it.
And
he's good.
Is he?
Oh my goodness.
Isn't he? And and of course, just like so many other people here in our region, he does so much work to promote other bands.
He shares everything.
Mm-hmm. It's just the sweetest thing.
Zero ego. I've worked with him. He's done production for shows for me, and I've played with him.
Oh yeah, he's a good sound guy.
He's just everything. I've traveled overnight with a guy in the car, and he's a great car companion. Those kind of guys you're always thankful for, particularly in our area, that they just support and promote everybody. So I wanted to ask these are specific questions, and I hesitate to go too deep into it because I know your all's vast library of music is ridiculous. But I'm going to ask you, Keith, what's in your playlist right now? So what are you listening to during the day if you're traveling or if get some quiet time, you're wanting to listen to music?
I love streaming. I hate it for the artist, but I love it because I can
pick anything.
I can pick anything. So I mean, like right now, Tankin' and Bangas, not Corey Wong, which those guys too.
Mm-hmm.
The flying was it the
Fearless Flyers?
Yeah, Fearless Flyers.
Wolfpack.
Yeah. But his name's
Corey Wong.
Yeah, but there's a organ player, Corey, who had his album, The Art of Love. Oh, Corey. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that got him, and then of course, all our local people. Sarah Beth Terry. I listen to her music constantly. I sing her praises everywhere I go. She's Northern Kentucky, and the Trippin' Roots album. Kevin Dalton. I've been listening to. I listen to his album all the time.
That's a good album.
That's such a good album.
Man, anytime I can play with Tommy Kate is a good day.
Tommy Kate is just something else.
He's just
man.
a great guy.
He best guy in the world, number one. But he plays to the room too. He's one of those guys. And then his little suitcase of noise
With all the effects and stuff.
It's awesome.
It's the
Pulls
coolest
it
thing
out.
ever, man.
It's like, where's that organ coming from? Well, it's coming from Tommy Kate's suitcase.
What about you, Jesse? What do you
Oh,
listen
let me
to?
tell you. I've been listening to a lot of Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys. I've had it stuck in my head. It's not my usual jam, but like our friend Andy Messer, man, he's a huge fan. And we had a Mardi Gras party, and we played a couple of his songs. And I've had Stay All Night stuck in my head for weeks, just singing along with it. It's in all my Spotify playlist. I like Keith. I love Wolfpack. I think Joe Dart is probably one of the best young bass players out there. I assume he's young. Maybe he's young compared to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
he looks young.
I'd say the same thing.
Anyway, he looks like a pretty young guy, but he's amazing. And
Not me. Not me.
we were talking about Fearless Flyers, and I caught a Corey Wong show up at the Burl not too long ago. Oh, yeah. Amazing. Just great stuff. Yeah.
So, with those bands you're listening to, are you finding yourself being influenced by that when you're? I mean, it's hard to. I mean, when you're covering a classic song, you just gotta play it to what it was.
Sure.
Any, when you're asked to be creative for original type music and all that stuff, you start pulling in some of those influences. I mean, or do you find that just be one of those things where it's more recreational than?
I think with people like the highly technical players, like Joe Dart is a good example. He's had such fretboard mastery, and it's really like an exercise to try to model your playing after him. Because obviously, he has a distinct style. He's great, but I can't work that into most of the stuff that we play, like you say. But everything you play makes you better.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it does definitely help me stay motivated for practice when I'm playing some of these other artists' music, because especially the young people, Periphery and Luke Holland and these young drummers who are just these amazing metal drummers, and so I'm working at home to try to. Of course, I can't play it the way they do. They're just they. Even though they're much younger than I, they probably have years of playing over me, because they just spend so many hours doing what they do. But I'm working on it, and so then when I'm playing with a Rachel Crowe blues, my stamina's still good. Even though or I'm not doing these weird triplets in the 16ths or something like that. But I can keep a nice shuffle because I am working on triplets in the 16th. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where my inspiration is. More like a workout for me than it is. I'm trying to
You're constantly challenging yourself.
There you go. Yeah, and it keeps me interested too. Because sometimes I'll hear something and I'll just run out to the garage and try it. And then it doesn't work all the time, but I do find myself learning more about I'm learning more about the music, the relationship between the music, what I'm doing, and what I can actually play.
Yeah,
it's growing. So,
and I would say with Rachel, she's really open to your version of what. I mean,
She lets us do whatever we want. Rachel is the biggest cheerleader I've ever met in my life. I feel like I cannot do any wrong when I'm playing with her. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the few times I've played, the same thing. Just kind of feeding off John. John's awesome music coach, man. I mean, if you want to play with someone that's going to coach you through it, he's great. Yes. But I love the fact that with her band that you guys are playing with, and I know several of the bands you played with in the past, you kind of allowed to. I know you play maybe the same sets a lot, but you get every song could be treated a little different. Yeah. You might get a little.
Oh, it's never the same way twice. Yeah. That's true with Rachel, especially because we're very jammy. Yeah. But was true with the Crawdads as well, because that's one of the things. We came from such different influences. I mean, we talk about Keith and I where we came from, but Andy Messer he's the world's biggest Buck Owens fan. Oh wow. He is the world's biggest Keith Richards fan. Biggest
Biggest.
Is it rhythable? Do you find it rhythable? I'm drying out here. But and then Daryl, man.
Yeah.
Just had such...
All the jazz.
And we're coming from
influence and stuff.
completely different places, and it all comes together and makes something amazing, And I thought...
Yeah. Where there wasn't big egos. Coming from where I came from, playing with a lot of, in a lot of cities, where egos were big. Where people you had to play it exactly the way they wanted you to play it, or they didn't want you to play at all. I've been kicked out of bands, and stuff, just for being underskilled. And I think I'm a decent drummer, but it's because they wanted something so perfect. And so when I came here, and people were just so much more relaxed and more open to ideas, and so then you can collaborate and can create. You can be artistic. I think and you would figure San Francisco would be the place of artists.
Yeah.
But really, it's more structured and conservative than
that's
than I
interesting.
ever realized.
Because you would grow a whole lot more under the environment of freedom because you're learning from the bass player you're playing with versus trying to stay with the metronome and stay with exactly the way that it's tabbed out for what you have to have for that song. Here, there is for the lazy drummer, you could get into bad habits, but for one that's wanting to learn and grow, it's a great culture.
Yeah.
Well, and recognize there's a place for both.
Yeah.
There's certain things you got to do a certain way sometimes, but really, it's mainly about having a good time and
you got to serve.
you remember the
same
beginning
time.
and the end.
Yeah, learn how it starts. Which that's my kryptonite. Song titles. I make charts. I write out songs.
Yeah.
But you say, hey, you know that song. Here's the name of it. The one you've played 1,000 times. The name.
I don't know that name.
If I get a guitar player, just go, dink real
Then
quick.
you're in.
Hum the bass line
I know
for
the
me,
whole
Jess.
thing. I know all the words. I know everybody's harmonies, everything. But I got to hit a dink. Or
This is the
So
one
how
where
do
we
you
do that
tune in?
bump, 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 bump.
So how do you count in?
I got to hear dink. So I'll remember that there was a riff. And then I know that the flashback memory. I got to download it each time though. So I can't.
Oh man.
I have it stored.
Yeah.
It's a hard drive.
Yeah.
It's
And
pushing
you got
pop.
it. But it's not automated. You got to
Yeah.
double tap. You got to double click the
Yes.
file name, and then
Was it on the jukebox? You had to press like F5
that's
or
what I.
Yeah.
Can you build one of those?
That would be
Build me
amazing.
one of those, just like a jukebox. You just hit it, and then I'll hear in the back of my Neuralink. I'll get the thing, and I'm like, okay, dink, and there we go.
Dink. That's it right there. That's the start.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So I really don't know how these songs start.
Yeah.
I know how they all end.
Absolutely not true.
know.
Absolutely not true.
Listen, if it wasn't for all you, I want to, from the bottom of my heart, all of you wonderful, loving guitar players who say, hey, okay, man, count us in. And then you look at me and I look at you.
What we got here is he has no idea what he's going to do.
But then you give me the think. I like, that's the thinky think song. And I'm ready to go.
But, I'm not immune to it myself. Played with Silhouette a couple of years. And, first time I played with them, Scott and Vernie sent me a song list of their repertoire, and it had like 150 songs in it.
Oh, my word.
And I'm like, okay, I had never played Van Halen in my life. I'd listened to it.
Yeah.
Not huge. My brother was a huge fan, but not me so much. It's great. I love it now for sure. But, so many times in a show, I'd be like, Scott, all I need you to do for me is just casually play the opening chord. Like, just play it. And then I know where I'm at, I mean, I know how it goes. I don't know how to groove it once I'm in it. Yeah. The start will come to me. It's the dinka. I just need to hear that chord so I'm not starting out. So believe it or not every song starts in E.
We now know that these guys aren't as good as they think, as they show.
You're going to have to vet your guests better, buddy. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Man, we had you way up here, now you're down here.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing, though, that you guys played as long as you have and being able to catalog all those songs and be able to jump in there and play for 4 hours in the night.
Yeah, and keep... I think too. I mean, I don't know if I said it earlier, but I know Jesse and I we like to review, which is it's just like if you're a student, your good students are going to go back and review. They're going to review their notes. They're going to review the music.
Game footage.
Yeah, game footage.
We got the game tape.
footage.
Let's go back to the tape.
So we both capture things on YouTube and stuff like that, which has been a great. That's probably been as big of a tool as anything. And it's not just because I want to engage fans. It's because I can go back and like, what was that last show we played? Play through the show, and then when I show back up. I remember Sydney Adams told me that one time. She was like, "You're the one who just remembers all my songs, no matter how long it's been." It's like, because I watched that show like 100 times playing it. I listen to your music all the time, so
it's the homework.
It's the homework.
Yeah.
But I'm not. It's easier than math homework, though. To me,
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy
I'm
that.
not doing math homework. We're out on that.
But I will listen to an old show and practice to it, and listen to it 100 times every day. I don't mind. And Jesse and I, we've developed vocabulary. It's not like words, but I know if he's doing a solo or something like that and he goes to a certain part, I know what's coming next.
I'm very predictable. Very predictable. Not his words, those are mine.
No.
Mr. Keith Greene.
Same here. So it's that relationship we've built over all the years. I just know. I don't know how I know, but I know what he's going to do next, and we just fall in line. I've heard sometimes like I've gone into a solo, and he just hits all the parts like boop 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 right into my soul, and I'm just making it up. But here he comes with a bass line that sits the whole thing. It's like, how did he do that?
Well, I will say the last couple of shows that we played, whenever we've gone into solos, which is pretty, I'd say 3 or 4 times in a night, that you guys, I've looked back. You guys are usually on my left. I look back and see you guys just looking at each other playing, and I didn't really understand what's going on, but I guess every time that you're playing, you just basically, you're feeding off him and vice versa. So.
Yeah, sometimes we just like hold on for dear life. I mean, really, it really depends. Some shows you'd be like, okay, let's go, Keith. You got my back. Thank goodness.
Always.
The secret to the rhythm deuces.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming out and talking. I know it's been a busy week already, but just get to talk to you guys. We'd like to hear, what you guys are into, what's coming up. So nothing in the month of February.
Nothing in the month of February.
But
we got some big stuff coming up over the summer,
so
though.
Just kind of stay tuned to social media, and we'll see some stuff.
Yeah, we got Rachel's got a gig at the Burl. It's a Prince tribute.
Excellent.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Of course, the people higher up the list got all the best songs first, but we got some really cool stuff, and it's going to be really interesting.
Fantastic.
Because the style that we're going to end up doing it's going to be fun.
Awesome.
And then
it is a ticketed event.
Yes.
Okay. So be sure to send me links, and I'll share.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do.
Get the tickets out there. Any other shows you guys want to talk about?
Oh wow, big one this summer. Playing the Master Musicians Festival out in Somerset.
Yeah,
that's going to be a good time, man.
Big one, man.
And if you told me 25 years ago that I'd be on the same festival bill as Winona Judd, I'd been like, no, that is a lie. I mean, like I said, we're not in the same stage or anything, but holy crap, we're in the same zip code.
Yeah.
And you'll have a poster.
Yes, it's beautiful. The poster's beautiful.
I really love their artwork. And I'm so glad that, festivals like Master Musicians, that they bring in a large quantity of local artists.
Absolutely.
Super great opportunity.
It's basically all Kentucky artists this year. I mean, we've got the lineup's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because what is it, 30th year?
Yes.
30th year? So that's pretty big, for a festival like that.
Awesome. Are you playing on the Friday night or the Saturday?
Saturday night.
Saturday night. Oh,
yeah.
Big, man.
I know.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's like...
Yeah. We got the Germantown Blues Festival.
Yes, Germantown Schnitzelberg Blues. In the tradition of double dipping, baby.
That's right. 2 bands.
2 of the bands we're playing with are on the...
Including...
Well, you're going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
I'll be there. Yeah.
So we're going to...
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That's right outside Chex, which I can tell you is a great place to eat.
Oh, yeah?
For sure. I was telling her I was in Louisville with my daughter last night. She's a student up there, and I told her I'm trying to get her to come to the show, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll be there." And I said, "Well, it's outside Chex." She's like, "It's outside Chex." Yeah, okay, I'm there.
Okay.
She loves Chex.
Was that the place with the beer cheese?
I didn't have beer cheese if they did have it, but I'm sure it's delicious. Everybody's got beer cheese up there.
Yeah, something like that.
Beer cheese and pretzels, man. That is like...
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, again, I appreciate it, and I'm really glad that we got to talk tonight, and looking forward to playing some shows this summer, and definitely looking forward to this Burl show and Master Musicians show with you guys. So,
thanks so much, Greg.
Really
thanks
for having us
doing this, man.
Absolutely. All right. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, take care.